And I want to give a little reminder of how autoimmune disease and chronic illness is created by our emotional overwhelm and by our emotional state. And two, before I go into this, if you want to learn more about the science behind how a body creates autoimmune or chronic illness, and most importantly, how a body heals, and also why you haven't been getting better with all the things you've been doing, make sure that you watch my free 101 master course. It's a course down below, and you will find the link again in the description here. So again, let's give a brief overview about how the body creates autoimmune from that suppressed emotional overwhelm. Again, most heightened during the holidays, is that as women, we've been suppressing our emotional state our whole entire life. Like since we were little girls, we've been suppressing our emotional state, and we've been living in a state of emotional overwhelm. And what happens over time, that emotional overwhelm grows and builds until, and this is moving into the physiological piece of this, the body's fight or flight mechanism. Again, a mechanism that's critical to help us run away from an invader or to fight them off. That fight or flight mechanism picks up on our emotional overwhelm, on our suppressed emotional state. And guess what? It thinks we're under an emotional threat due to our emotional overwhelm. This is really important. Fight or flight, due to this, it gets turned on and then it gets locked on. And the body's not meant to be in fight or flight chronically, but because of our chronic emotional overwhelm, fight or flight gets locked on chronically. And it is from here that the whole dysregulation happens in your body that has created your autoimmune disease. So what happens locked in chronically activated fight or flight due to our emotional overwhelm, our suppressed emotional state, what happens is we move into a nervous system and we get stuck in a nervous system called the sympathetic nervous system. Chronic illness and disease is created in the sympathetic nervous system. And in this chronically activated fight or flight in the sympathetic, what happens is cortisol, our body's stress hormone, floods the body at an unnatural rate, which wreaks havoc on our female hormones and also our metabolism. This is why for women out there, if you have weight on, and you have an autoimmune disease and you can't seem to get it off, or you're struggling gaining weight, this is due to that cortisol wreaking havoc on your metabolism. Now, what also happens stuck in chronically activated fight or flight is the immune system becomes dysregulated. For those out there with autoimmune disease, what's happened is that dysregulated immune system is attacking the tissues and or organs of your body, creating your said autoimmune disease. So for instance, Hashimoto's, the immune system is attacking the thyroid. Now also with that chronically activated fight or flight, that immune system being overactive, that's also creating inflammation in the body. I know many of us struggle with inflammation and also food allergies and food sensitivities. Also, the other thing that happens is the digestive system becomes compromised. That's creating issues such as leaky gut, SIBO, candida, bloating, constipation. And as you can see, these are all symptoms. And then the other symptoms we have like fatigue, brain fog, hair loss. These are all coming from the body being stuck in the sympathetic and chronically activated fight or flight. Why? All funneling back down to our living life under a chronic state of emotional overwhelm. And again, that is what I'm talking about today, because the biggest window into our emotional overwhelm, ladies, is during that holiday season.